Hey everyone, my name is Nigel and this is my new puppy. This is Mabel. Say hi, Mabel. So in today's video, I wanted to do a quick tutorial on how I sharpen my footage. Now I do this a lot when I'm shooting with cameras that don't have the sharpest footage. Cameras like the EOS M, the Canon T2i, T3i, 60D, and I even do it a little bit sometimes with my 80D footage, just because the 80D isn't quite as sharp as like a GH3 or something like that. But just so you know, sharpening isn't gonna be the same as like actual image detail. If you have a super soft image like the EOS M, even though the EOS M can still produce a nice looking image, it's not gonna be the sharpest or the most detailed. So, you know, really having a lot of detail in your shot and having, you know, a lot of sharpness in your shot are kind of two different things. Over sharpening can definitely make your video look absolutely horrible. And most people will tell you, and I totally agree with this, that if you're gonna be shooting with one of your camera's pre-built, you know, profiles, that you definitely wanna turn the internal sharpening of the camera all the way down. And I definitely agree with that for most cameras. For cameras like the GH3 and the G6, I don't do it as much. With the GH3, I turn it down a little bit. With the G6, I just kind of leave it where it is. I don't turn it down any more than it already is. And I don't actually add any digital sharpening either. But like I said, with a lot of the Canon cameras, especially the older ones, a little bit of sharpening can help a lot. Now what sharpening is it just basically helps define the contrast areas of your video. It doesn't actually add detail to the shot, it's just gonna help define the contrast areas in your footage. So I'm gonna take you into Premiere and show you how I sharpen my footage. All right, so here we are in Premiere, and before we get started, I just wanted to say that there's a couple other just practical ways that you can get sharper footage, and the first one would be definitely shooting with a lens that's actually sharp. Like the lens that I was shooting with here was the Sigma 17-50 f2.8 on a Canon T3i. That's still pretty old camera with, you know, older technology, but as you can see, the shot doesn't actually look that bad. And I think most of it has to do with the fact that I was shooting with a pretty sharp lens to begin with. And this was shot at f2.8 at about 17 millimeters, I think. So I'm gonna go into my effects. I'm gonna type in unsharp. We're gonna find unsharp mask. Now I use this as opposed to what you would probably normally use. And what a lot of people do is they'll go into the color tab and they'll go to creative, and then they'll just take the sharpening tool and just up the sharpening like that. I just don't like doing it that way. I use the unsharp mask tool. In fact, let's go back and fix that. So I'm gonna drag and drop the unsharp mask tool onto my footage, go to effects controls, and what I actually do is I simply just take the amount and take it from 50 up to about 60. I think that's where I normally have it, and then I take the radius and I take it from 1.0 to 1.1. And literally that's basically all that I do to sharpen my footage. Now it's not gonna be insanely noticeable, but when you blow it up, that little bit of extra sharpening actually helps a lot. You might not be able to see it on YouTube, but I can tell right now that all of the contrast areas, like on her jacket, those are much sharper with the unsharp mask filter put on. And that's just something that I really do want to stress, is that sometimes less is more. You really don't want to over sharpen your footage because it can look really fake. You want it to stay looking as organic as possible, and just adding this little bit of extra sharpness with the unsharp mask tool I think helps just the right amount. So anyways, that's how I do it. I try not to overdo the sharpening, but I just use that unsharp mask tool just to give my footage just that extra little push if it needs it, especially with this footage from older Canon cameras like the T2i, T3i, 60D, EOS M, etc. So anyways, that was how I sharpened my footage. Pretty straightforward and simple. Wasn't gonna be a super long video today, but I hope you enjoyed it and I hope it was helpful. If it was, it'd be great if you hit the like button, and be sure to subscribe to my channel if you wanna see more content from me, and even hit that bell if you wanna be notified when I upload new videos. As always, I have links in the description to a bunch of the gear that I recommend and use, as well as links to my Sellfy account if you wanna buy some LUT packs or support me on Patreon. Anyways, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Later.